to the channel. It's your girl Lyssy, and today guys, it is once again spooky season, so I'm in a silly spooky mood, and today we're going to be talking once again about Furbys. If you hear something in the background, that already is my Furby. This right here is literally my cursed Furby. Pretty sure it's possessed. Right now, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's literally making a sound. Do you guys hear that? My Furby has been growling since I grabbed it out for today's video, which is crazy because today we're going to be talking about cursed Furbys, scary Furby stories, and weird Furbys you guys didn't know existed, but this is just proving my point. What is wrong with this thing? Why is it hissing? Like literally, I don't know what's wrong with this Furby, if he's just broken, but he's never done this before. Like, I think I broke this Furby. He's literally broken. This is terrifying. I don't know what's wrong with it. Since that Furby wouldn't shut up, I grabbed this Furby and I noticed that this one is now broken. I have two Furbys and those are the two that I have. I've had a lot over the time since I've been little, but these two I recently got from antique stores. Pretty sure the one that's growling is cursed, and I'm pretty sure this one's just broken and does not work anymore. But today we're going to be talking about some scary Furby stories and weird design Furbys that you guys might not know have actually existed in the Furby universe. So grab some popcorn, grab a snack, and brace yourself because the tea is hot. So before I get into the rest of this video, I do want to catch you guys up about the history of Furbys and why they were made. Furby is an American electronic robot toy that was originally released in 1998 by Tiger Electronics. It resembles a hamster or owl-like creature and went through a period of being a must-have toy that everybody wanted. Over 40 million Furbys were sold during the 3 years of its original production, with 1.8 million sold in 1998 yet alone, and 14 million in 1999. Its speaking capabilities were translated into 24 different languages. Furbys were the first successful attempt to produce and sell domestically aimed robot toys to kids, and they kind of just looked really creepy in the first early ages of their design. They were pretty simple, but they were pretty much just like the ones I just held and the one that was hissing earlier. That's kind of like the original Furby. A newly purchased Furby starts out speaking entirely in its own language called Furbish. That is their own designated language that all Furbies speak in, Furbish. But is programmed to start using English words and phrases in place of Furbish over time. The process of learning English, but instead it is Furbish. So over time, since Furbys were created, they started in original versions, but they kind of adapted over time into different ones with electronic blinking eyes, different forms, and different styles of Furbys. And one of the Furbys we're going to be talking about today is so incredibly cursed. Well, at least the way they promoted it and marketed it is so cursed to me, and I had no idea about this. So the first type of Furby we're going to be covering today is called Furby Babies. In 1999, the Furby Babies line was introduced. Furby Babies are smaller than the originals, and they have higher voices, and they cannot dance or move around like the typical Furbys do. They also have an extended vocabulary and different Easter eggs and games built into them. Furby Babies come in 24 different colors and have white eyelashes and one of 6 different eye colors included in them. They were a pretty big line of a lot of different shapes, colors, and looks to them. The idea behind these Furby Babies was actually kind of cute. However, the commercial was so horrifying. So I'm actually going to show this commercial on the screen right now as I'm talking about it. Basically, there was people in a nursery, right? And they were walking into the nursery to adopt their new Furby baby. So doctors like walk around and they're carrying a blanket almost as if it's a human child, but no, underneath the blanket is a Furby baby, which is kind of unsettling, especially the way that the doctor says Furby baby into the camera. It's horrifying. I hate it. And not only that, but there's a pile of kids that are almost in like a paparazzi sort of situation, excited to pick out their Furby baby, and I guess that was their marketing scheme for this, is to make it look exciting, like every kid wants to adopt their own Furby baby. I don't really know how well that worked for them, but even worse was when I came across a video of what they did at a Toys R Us in 1999 when they first released this toy and how they promoted it. So here's a clip right here, I'm gonna put it on screen, of, yes, a gigantic Furby coming out of an ambulance with people surrounded around it. It was at a Toys R Us for the first launch of Furby Babies, and this is a pregnant Furby. Yes, this Furby is preganto. It was about to deliver a bunch of Furby babies, and as soon as they dragged it into the Toys R Us to deliver the Furby babies, it popped them out, gave birth to them, and then kids took them. How unsettling is that, guys? I cannot even believe that that's really a real thing. Yes, it is a real thing. How is it a real thing? Don't ask me how. But kids were apparently really excited to get one out of the pregnant Furby that just birthed a bunch of baby Furbys. So, terrifying, to say the least. Now that we've covered Furby Babies, we're going to be talking about something that might just be even more cursed, which is called Shelby's. It sounds like a name of an actual person, but no, this is a type of Furby. This Furby is probably one of the most scariest ones ones I've ever seen, and I didn't even know about it till today when I was doing a little bit of research and digging deep about Furbys. The Interactive Shelby is a line of Furby friends released in 2001. At the time, Furby sales were dwindling due to the sheer amount of supplies and colors available. Tiger decided to release one more Furby friend to squeeze in as much life as they could out of their franchise of Furbys. Though Shelby was very popular when it first released, most people passed it off as just another Furby, and the same as all the rest of them, although this one was not. After only 1 year of manufacturing and 2 generations of Shelbys, production was halted for the Shelby and the Furby, so they completely stopped making these toys. In early 2002, the Furby franchise was officially dropped from the market, leaving many stores marking down Furby products to as little as only $5. Yet when Furbys were first released, people were bidding on them for hundreds of dollars and collecting them like crazy. It was almost impossible to get your hands on a little Furby monster. So Shelby, unlike the normal Furbys, actually speaks in its language called Shelbish, and there's a lot of things about this particular Furby that were horrifying and a lot different than the typical Furbys. Shelby somewhat resembled a Furby inside of a clamshell, which it can be opened and closed like a shell or a clam in a shell or a pearl in a shell per se. Unlike some Shelbys have no tail, instead having a fuzzy mane running down their back and flickering out the sides of their shell. It also has a plastic antenna or tennies on top of its head that kind of go out like a bug or a snail, which are used for communication with the other Furbys and Shelby toys so they can communicate with each other. Kind of like, you know how normal Furbys can speak Furbish to each other? It's really scary if you put 2 Furbys in the same room, they speak to each other. Horrifying. Well, Shelby can too. It actually could speak to all the Furby babies and the normal Furbys in its own Shelbish language or in Furbish, so it knows both languages. It also has somewhat of a cocky personality to it, with a more vulgar attitude than the other Furbys. Unlike Furby and Furby babies, if Shelby is held upside down for about 1 minute, it can become angry and insulting, which would make it be in a bad mood, often making it retreat back inside of its shell and hiding from its owner, so you don't want to piss off your Shelby. But speaking of cursed Furbys, I want to cover some stories I found on Reddit. There was an entire Reddit thread that I scrolled through earlier today talking about times that their Furbys have come alive with no batteries, times that their Furbys have become possessed or potentially haunted, and I've shared some of these stories with you guys before, but today I want to share some more with you guys. So one of the first stories I found on Reddit about somebody's Furby was so crazy to me, so I'm gonna tell you guys the tea, because I've heard so many stories about these dolls having issues, and to this day, even I have issues with Furbys. So this one was pretty scary. This girl actually went to a sleepover with her friends. Apparently her and her friends were just watching movies and eating cookies and laying on the sofa, having a good time, and all of a sudden they heard a dark, low growl come from her friend's closet. Her friend was like, "That's weird, there's really nothing in there." And they're like, "Well, there has to be," because they heard this weird mumbling growl sound. So all of the girls were so freaked out, thinking some sort of animal got into their house and was trying to, like, you know, do something in the closet. Who knows? So they decided to open the closet finally because it was freaking them out so much that they thought the house was haunted. And to their surprise, they opened it to see nothing but a pile of toys and one pink Furby sitting on top of the pile with its eyes glowing red. Of course they were freaked out because that girl's Furby was not even hers, it was her mom's from way back in the days apparently. And they turned it around to see there was no batteries in it, and it continued to make weird growling noises and light up with its eyes bright red. Of course the girls were so freaked out about this, they decided to get rid of it. They threw it out in the trash can, and they claimed that the neighbors were complaining they heard weird sounds from their trash can the rest of the night until the dump truck came the next day and took the thing away, for heaven's sake. These toys are so freaky. I don't know why there's been so many like weird coincidences with these toys working without batteries. It kind of blows my mind because I want to see if mine will work without batteries. Right now I think the batteries are supposed to be dead and that thing is hissing, so kind of weird. Another story I found on Reddit was super creepy. So this one was actually about a older toy collector. She had a pile of different toys and she had like a closet full of them. She had all sorts of old Barbies, you know, Bratz dolls, Little's Pet Shop. She had pretty much everything you can think of as far as a toy would go. And she had a whole line of Furbys, except for this one specific Furby, and her collection was gray and all the rest of Furbys were like pinks. She likes pink, so she had mostly like pink toys. Anyways, moving along, same. But this gray Furby in the middle of the night would cause mischief with her other toys. She would say that things would fall off the shelf and she would see the Furby sitting on her dresser at different points of the week when she didn't touch it. So she was convinced either there was like a ghost in her house or that her Furby was haunted. And she also claimed that one day she swore the Furby under its breath had said the name of her dead husband. I know that's really creepy, but she swore that the Furby whispered Robert in like a really low grumbling voice, which freaked her out because her husband sadly passed on a few months ago. After she added that Furby into her collection, she actually picked it up from a local antique shop because that's where she gets most of her vintage toys. So she of course course, was so freaked out that she ended up burning it. And then she said everything stopped after she burnt that one specific Furby. Quirky, I don't know. What do you guys think about Furbies? Have you guys ever owned a haunted or cursed or possessed Furby? What do you guys think about the Furby commercials or the Furby branding? And would you guys want Furbies to come back this year with like a new design? I feel like they're so popular in different ways. Like there's been a lot of Etsy sellers that have made really creepy Furbies, like the long neck ones, or the ones with the teeth on them, or you know, the ones with the really creepy long legs. Have you guys seen the long leg Furbies? Those are horrifying. I'm glad that those are just like fan created, because like imagine those being sold in stores. They probably do well though, because they're cursed. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments down below, have you guys ever owned a Furby and how do you feel about them? And if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, I post new videos every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. I don't want you lovely people to miss out on it, so be sure to subscribe and smash a like if you guys agree that Furbies are creepy. It's been Lyssy. I'll see all of you lovely people in the next video, and until next time, peace out.